Okay, I'm going to mute us.
Okay.
Minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence. And remember, it's Spaceboy's Universe, and you're in it.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's your friend Spaceboy, and good thing I learned how to work the mixer board tonight. It is February 13th, 2016. This is show number 021. And tonight we have dream-pre-cognition with our guest caller, Patrick Scott Sporer. And he's going to be on very shortly here in the next few minutes, but it's going to be a great show tonight. So, if you want to partake in this great experiment that we have going on here, it is 713-701-5214. That is the magic number to call into the Spaceboy Universe. And of course, if you want to follow along on Twitter, which is the place where it's always happening, our Twitter handle is at the SB Universe. And if you want to pose a question or anything good out there that you want to share with us, hashtag us. And that's hashtag SB Universe. That is the way to go. Now, of course, we've got many other links, and to follow those links, just go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and that is where it's all at. And I forgot, usually in the intro, I say, to my immediate left is the lovely Surlana. How are you, Surlana?
Yes, I am here.
Sorry, Surlana.
As well.
I didn't mean to ignore you over there. I'm just so excited about tonight, and getting all riled up over here.
Yeah, it's fine. It's going to be an easy night for me.
Well, we got a good guest.
Yeah.
I mean, excellent guest.
Just sort of sit back and get comfortable.
Yes, get your beverage, your chips, and all that good stuff. But we got the Jumbotron behind me, and so Surlana is watching all the tweets that are coming in, so we get to see those live, courtesy of TweetDeck.
I need to get my glasses updated, or I could see them.
But I see the Gene.
I go like this.
Gene, the mean machine is on. Let's get cracking. Yes, you are there, sir.
He's trying to get in.
we welcome you tonight. And, of course, on our other chat room, and that is on the Spreaker app, and that is cooking there. Hello, Dave. Hello, Bob. I see you all. And, of course, if I don't say it, hello, K28. We're not neglecting you. You're there. We're happy to see you. So, before we chew up too much time, I want to get into some interesting talk. So, tomorrow what we're doing, right?
Yes. It's, I guess, are we calling it the Valentine's thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's Valentine's thing, yeah. So, we're going to go see Deadpool. Yep, and so that early, take the early show before everybody wakes up from Saturday night listening to this show. So we'll be a little tired going in, but the Deadpool. But I heard that the movie is doing phenomenal. What have you heard?
I've heard that it is now broken the record for the box office record for opening weekend for an R-rated film. Mm-hmm. It's now one of the top 10 comic book opener weekends. It did, what did it do? Like $47.5 million yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Highest rated R-rated movie opening in the top 10. Oh yeah, so, and they said they didn't want to do this movie because they didn't think anybody would want to go see it.
More specifically, who wanted to do this movie?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, and he was like, hey, we got to do this movie. We got to do this movie.
He put together some footage of him as Deadpool to get them convinced.
I want to say, just put this out there. If Fox had just listened to him initially, we would not have gotten Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern. And I think people wouldn't have looked so unfavorably at that movie.
But the thing is, even if you're in a bad movie that was supposed to be a blockbuster, you still got paid.
That is true.
You're still a movie star. You still were in a movie.
But I think this movie is probably fitting for him because he has that cockiness as Deadpool, and they've already said that there's going to be a sequel. So maybe next week we'll talk a little Deadpool action in the old universe. But we're both looking forward to it.
I'm trying to remember last time I've seen a rated R movie in a theater, and I can't remember.
I can't either. It doesn't ring a bell for what. Maybe Prometheus? Was Prometheus?
I don't think Prometheus was.
It should have been with that.
It should have been. I would have liked to have been warned when to not look.
But yeah, so we're moving on. Speaking of other movies, what about Ghostbusters? You looking forward to that? I mean, 4 women heading up the team.
It's something to do.
Yeah, it looks very promising. I know there's purists out there that are like, oh my God, they replaced all the men with women.
So why can't...
this goes back to that Rey thing with the Star Wars thing, so what? Or Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, I told you earlier today, these executives and these toy manufacturers, they don't want women buying their products, so they say... why not? We've got money too. What do you care where the money goes as long as you're making money?
Besides, I think it's great. I like watching powerful women on the screen kick butt. I mean, it's really it's fun. When we saw her in Lucy, that was really a cool movie.
That's a strange movie.
It was a strange movie.
It got really weird at the end.
It did. Hey, it's been pretty much a week since we've talked last with the audience, but something really cool happened. Something cool happened last Sunday, of all places, on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Apparently, George puts out the emerging artist list, and he plays some music here and there, and apparently I was played on Coast to Coast AM.
Yes, I checked that out.
Yes, so last Sunday, I guess it's an hour or two, and I guess kind of in the middle, but they played my song Madness of the Moon from Intellectual Love, and so I've been played on Coast to Coast finally, so I thought that was pretty awesome. So, I'm really digging that. So, yeah, if you get a chance and you have Coast to Coast Insider, you should check out last Sunday. That would be the 7th, the day after our premiere night on the KFNX 1100 Independent Talk, courtesy of Cave Creek, Phoenix, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, but that's pretty exciting. So speaking of music, have you checked out that new OK Go music video? I
saw a thumbnail for it, but I didn't click it. I haven't had time.
It's really cool. This time they have the pattern things they do and all that good stuff. But this one, they're actually in an airplane. I always compare it to the Vomit Comet that goes up and it goes down. And they're kind of like gravity, weightless, and all that good stuff. If you haven't seen this video, Space Cadets, you should really check it out.
Well, they're known for being very avant-garde with their videos.
It's definitely avant-garde, and it's colorful, and you should really, don't take my word for it, check it out. It's more of a visual thing than actually to listen to it. So, but yeah, OK Go, it's their new music video out there. We've got some things planned off in the future, and I wanted to bring up Space City Comic-Con that's coming here to Houston, Texas, courtesy of May 27th, 28th, and 29th. Space City Comic-Con.com, I believe, is the web address, and Spaceboy will be there roaming the village and pillaging and all that good stuff.
It's my first Comic-Con of any kind ever. It will be. So that'll be interesting.
To say the least. And then I'll be there in Space spacesuit and all that good
You'll
stuff.
probably be the most normal looking there.
But if you're in the Houston area, if you're thinking about coming to this, we are planning to be there. When I say we, the Spaceboy Universe team of Surlana and myself, on the 28th of May is the date we're going to do, Saturday.
You're going to have some good guests there, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, I know there was going to be Michael Dorn from
Marina
Star Trek.
Sirtis, Brent Spiner. Mm-hmm. Sunday only, they'll have Shatner there, but I don't care about him. Renee Aubergenois from Deep Space Nine. So we're only going to go on Saturday, and I don't know if we'll go to Comic Palooza or not, which is in the George R. Brown.
Hey, I think I've overshot my welcome on the broadcast here, so I need to take this floating break so we can get our guest on. So enough of the jibber jabber, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're listening out there, we're about to take our floating break right now. So you're listening to Spaceboy Universe, and on terrestrial radio, KFNX 1100 Independent Talk, and that's Cave Creek, Phoenix. We'll be back after these messages. Hey, Space Cadets. Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live shows. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
Howdy, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Surlana.
And we want to tell you about our show right here on KFNX on Saturday nights.
Our show covers history, technology, gaming, pop culture, and fringe science.
So join us on Spaceboy Universe here on KFNX Saturday nights at 8 p.m. And remember, it's Spaceboy's Universe, and you're in it.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe. Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
You've tuned into Spaceboy Universe, and you're probably asking the question, what is Spaceboy Universe about? It's about history. It's about technology. It's about gaming. It's about music. It's about pop culture. It's about fringe science. Spaceboy Universe. Remember, it's Spaceboy's Universe, and you're in it. The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe. Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Check out the new podcast, Spaceboy Universe, where we'll talk about a wide range of topics from A to Z. And remember, it's my universe, and
I'm trapped in it.
What?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
Hey kids, grab your milk and cereal. It's Spaceboy Universe time. Yay!
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 7137015-14. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Our guest tonight, Patrick Scott Sporer, has been involved with the study of dreams for 30-plus years by keeping dream journals of his nocturnal travels and then watching how they appear to coincide with future events. For the last 8.5 years, he has been posting them to his dream-cognition experiment blog with date and time before those events occur, along with news and lotto jackpot combos. He has been featured on Fox News more than once. He has also appeared on ESPN and Good Morning America, as well as featured in national magazines and local news publications. He has worked as a professional intuitive reader for 20 years and is currently working on it full-time on his dream research and writing a book with a working title, Following the Cosmic Carrot to Your Dream Destiny Through Everyday Signs. Tonight he will tell us how to foretell the future via dreams, signs, symbols, and synchronicity, and to reveal how all of us are capable of doing so. Please welcome our guest, Patrick Scott Sporer.
Good evening.
Good evening, Patrick. How are you doing tonight?
Very good. I'd like to welcome all of your space cadets to this show. And I'd also like to welcome the audience listening in Phoenix, Arizona at KFNX 1100 Talk.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah. On behalf of the Cave Creek, Phoenix area, yes, they welcome you.
And I would also like to thank you for this very nice opportunity you're giving me to talk about a subject that I am very passionate about.
Well, when I first heard you, it was courtesy of a couple of friends of ours, Mark Schwartz and Art Webb. I given a little shout out to them. I found your story very interesting, and then it's just so. I had to get you on the show to the Spaceboy Universe, and that's how it all got together. So we're glad that you're on with us tonight.
Well, that's a great example of synchronicity, because I just happened to tune into that show that night when you were on.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would not have called in had you not mentioned the death of David Bowie.
Wow.
Which, to all of us and to a lot of people out there, it's probably very similar to when Elvis passed.
Mm-hmm.
It was that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I think to a lot of people he was. And then, of course, we lost Glenn Frey a few weeks later.
Yeah.
But the reason I called in about the David Bowie death is because 6 months prior to that, I posted a dream that apparently foreshadowed this information. The interesting thing about that dream was the fact that he had not publicized his illness.
Right.
And apparently he had been sick for, 18 months or something like that.
Yeah, it was quite some time before.
So, I wanted to kind of open the show with this. This is pretty current news. So, this is to start things with this particular dream. Surlana, thank you again for the nice introduction. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. That was your introduction.
Yeah.
I just sort of crunched it down a bit.
That's okay. Usually it's just, hey, this is Patrick and he does dreams, but that was nice.
We always like to build people up on this, positive energy, and so that people know what they're dealing with, and so that's just a part of the package deal when you get with us.
Sure. Well, before I read the David Bowie dream, yes, I have been, I have had this ability to apparently have precognitive dreams since I was a little kid. But because I was a child, I just assumed that everybody was doing the same thing. As you do as a kid, you just think, well, hey, because nobody really got excited about it. My mother, she wanted me to keep it kind of confidential because of my dad's status in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And she was protective. She was a great mom, but she enjoyed that I told her these things. But she was my confidant for many, many years until I became, hanging around with friends and kind of feeling them out to see if they had these kind of experiences, and not really too many people did. Now, again, this whole thing about, we know people with all types of certain abilities in the world. It could have been that this is a genetic thing. It's not that my siblings have this ability, or my mother or father had it, or anybody in the family may have this ability. But for some reason, I was either born with it or it was a result of an accident I had as a child. And that accident occurred around, I was either 4 or 5 years old. And we were living in Colorado Springs at the time. And I can remember, I can't remember the exact date, but I remember that we, as a group of kids, my brother and I, we were playing with a group of neighborhood kids. We were all playing Army. And there was this large rock in the front yard of one of the kids, the front yard of their home. And each of us were taking turns climbing up on this rock, and then everybody would play shoot, and then we would act like stuntmen and see who could die the best. And apparently I won the contest. But it was so realistic that for a brief moment I thought I had broken my neck. Oh. Yes, because there was a pop and a crack, and I remember it real well. And I remember everybody going, "Oh man, that was so cool! Oh Jesus, it was great." And then when I didn't move, they all gathered around me, and thinking, "Well, is he okay?" And then suddenly I got up, and I remember feeling a little kink in my neck, but outside of that. But what was interesting is about within a very short period of time, when I look back, not as a child did I realize it, but when I look back over this, it was about the same time that these very vivid dreams, I mean, just as if we're talking right now, that's how realistic the dreams are. I mean, I could wake up a few moments from now and I could say, wow, I was just, on the radio with Spaceboy and Surlana. That's how real these dreams are. Mm-hmm. No, it's true. And then I always think, then as life goes by, I think of the movie The Matrix. I'm sure that's one of your favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I saw that film and Lawrence Fishburne said, "Have you ever had a dream so real that you didn't know if you were asleep or awake?" Of course, I smiled immediately because it's the same kind of question I pose to people all the time. How do you know, which is which at times? Have you guys, either one of you, ever had a dream that you just felt was so real and then you saw something in the future occur?
I laughed a little bit while you were telling that, and quite often I've had many dreams, and I think some of my dreams drive Surlana crazy because I might have to turn a light on just to reassure me
that
I'm
night where you were dead asleep and you were going, human.
Oh.
Human. I was freaked out. I was about ready to slap you awake.
Yeah, I've had many vivid dreams where the reality. Let me share one dream real quick with you. Is that the dream was in black and white, and it was like the scenery from the Hills Rely.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music, exactly. So, but as I was going through the countryside, it was all black and white until I came over this hill, and when I got to the hill, there was this line, if you will, that it was complete color. I mean, the most vivid color that you could imagine. But on the side that I was on, it was black and white. But once I crossed
like the Wizard
over,
of Oz.
Once I crossed over, yeah, it was very similar to a Wizard of Oz kind of thing. It was I mean, if you could taste the color, it'd be just the freshest. The imagery that you can imagine. I mean, yeah, taste the rainbow. That's funny, but yeah. So my dreams are very vivid, and I think it's probably because of my creative side inside me.
Surlana, how about you?
Oh, we would be here for days. Mine they go from being fairly normal, realistic, you run in the mill, to what kind of drugs did I take to get that? I mean, just insane. And I would say 70% of the time, I'm not even in the dream. It's like I'm watching it on TV, or I'm inside someone else's mind and I'm sharing their conscious and they don't know I'm there. I can even manipulate them, and it's very strange. My dreams are like beyond weird.
Yeah, well, again, this is not an uncommon thing among many people that I talk about. There's a lot of people that I run into, and when we get on the subject of dreams, the first thing they say is, "Oh, I don't ever remember any of my dreams." Then I follow up and I go, "But you do remember dreaming?" "Oh, yeah, I did dream. I just can't remember them." So the thing about it is, for some reason, and like you guys do, I have instant recall, and sometimes with so much detail to the dream, it overwhelms me because, I have to make myself wake up. Or sometimes I get startled and I wake up and I'll write it down. Not that it's a scary dream, or I wouldn't call what I have nightmares. In fact, I can't even recall having what I call an actual nightmare, and nothing that recurs. And I rarely have recurring dreams, except when I say that, I don't mean the dream is the same way. I may dream about the same person, or et cetera, something like that. And it always is interesting to me how, we'll briefly touch on the lotto, but I don't want to cover that yet. But like, for instance, when I have a dream about somebody, and then 2 weeks later I have a dream about another person, and they have the same exact birthday, I'm still trying to figure out, why does the Dreamweaver give me the same person each time if it's connected to the lotto? And I'm still studying this, but in some cases with celebrities, like I may dream of a person that I know, and this birthday is the date, and then a few days later I'll dream about a celebrity and their birthday is the same as the person I know, but the outcome may be different. In other words, the person I know, it may be strictly lotto. The celebrity may have to do with more than just a lotto. It may actually be a breaking news or something high profile. It's rarely general news when I dream about celebrities. It's usually something unusual or odd, especially if you dream about celebrities that are in the news a lot. I sometimes even leave those alone and apply them strictly to lotto, because it's like, and I don't want to give them any credit, but there's a family that's on TV that you're probably aware of. If I had a dream of one, well, I don't want to give them any credit for anything, but if I dream about them or one of them, I might say, well, gosh, it's going to be pretty difficult to figure out what the news might be. But again, it could be odd news. It could be something like pregnancy or something like that, which, of course, is high-profile news when you're dealing with a high-profile celebrity. Mm-hmm. But that'll kind of open the door here on the David Bowie dream. And would you guys like me to read this dream?
Well, we're getting close to the bottom of the hour, and I was just trying to work our way into that part. But, yeah, that's going to be interesting when we come back after that break. Then we can definitely go full-fledged into that.
How much time do we have to break?
We've got about 20 seconds and counting.
Okay, great. That'll be better to tell it when we can tell it in full length. But yeah, dreaming in color, dreaming in black and white, dreaming film noir. I have all those types of dreams: sounds, sensory, touch, feel. It's just amazing. I look forward to going to sleep.
I think we all look forward to that. So let's take a little break here, and then when we come back, we'll talk some more with Patrick and dive deeper and talk about David Bowie. That's going to be pretty good. So you're listening to Spaceboy Universe and KFNX 1100 Independent Talk, Cave Creek, Phoenix. Hey Space Cadets, want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there, this is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelei DeMille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's two-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 713-701-5214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Yes, it is Spaceboy here, and I just wanted to give a shout out to one of our friends of the show. And Bev, we hope that you make a speedy recovery, because we need you back there in the game. So, get well. Wouldn't you agree, Surlana?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So we continue along with our guest caller, Patrick Sporer. Sporer. I'm sorry, I got a little tongue-tied. Patrick, I have a tendency to get tongue-tied. Please forgive me. Don't think.
That's not a problem. Not a problem. But we were talking at the break. We were going to discuss the David Bowie dream, and this will give the audience a little better example of what I experienced. Hopefully we can get enough of the examples or samples in tonight to help people understand, maybe help understand their dreams. Now, I want to clarify that if we take callers tonight towards the end of the show, that I don't do dream interpretation for other people. What I can do is, if somebody wants to talk about the dream as you did, we can, I can give them some pointers or ideas on how they might be able to interpret the dream for themselves, because we're getting into personal symbology with a lot of these dreams, and what might mean one thing to me might mean something entirely different to somebody else.
Right.
So
like a potato thing, as I keep telling Surlana that in many conversations we've had today.
Exactly. But this David Bowie dream took place on June 16th of 2015. So, and the news about David Bowie broke on January 8th that he had passed on. And when I saw that, I almost had to take a double take, because I had the day before, I was just reading something about him, and a few months ago I saw a documentary on, it was called The 5 Years of David Bowie or something. And I always liked his music growing up. Mm-hmm. So I was taken back when I saw that he actually passed away, because then immediately I had recall of the dream. And this is the way the dream was posted in advance on the Dream-Cognition Experiment blog, again on June 16th, 2015. And this is how the dream went. My dream character, I use initials DC when I post these, but I put my dream character was sitting around watching TV with a few people. People I don't know who they were, but in the dream it seemed like I knew them. When a breaking news report came on that had to do with iconic British music artist actor David Bowie. His hit song Golden Years was playing in the background. Then the volume went low before I could hear what was said about him. I do recall everyone turned and looked at each other with a blank stare. Now, that was all to that dream. And I always add that the Dreamweaver may have conjured up David Bowie for Florida Lotto purposes only. And then I go on to say, I've had these type of breaking news dreams about various actors, music artists, and people I know in the past. Some with video and music, and some with just a still photo of them. Most of them have manifested into either accident, health, or death news, usually within a short time frame. And I went on to say, I'm not claiming that this will be the news about David Bowie. It could be some other global headline news about or connected to him in the not-too-distant future. And then I go on to say that in the last year or so, there have been 20 to 30 well-known celebrity passings or severe accident or health-related news stories connected to these type of dreams. Also, some of local people that I know. Then I went on to say there's a few other examples of these type of dreams that people, if they want to go to the blog, can look up. B.B. King, Christopher Lee, Robin Williams, Ernie Banks, James Gardner, Lauren Bacall, Joe Cocker, Bono, John Hurt, Joan Rivers, Mickey Rooney, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and many others. And recently, I didn't get to post Abe Vigoda before it occurred because it happened so fast. But Robert Loggia was another one that everybody will probably remember from Scarface. Mm-hmm. So these are routine and have been going on for years. I've only been posting on the blog, as you mentioned in the prelude, for 8.5 years that I've been actually posting these online. But for years I've kept dream journals, and I just sort of watched the results from those just on, TV news or newspapers. And it seems like I would always be led to a result, which is also interesting. So after that dream, it took about right at 6 months for this huge news about David Bowie of his death to occur. Now, that's not a long time frame. We're not talking Nostradamus time frames or Edgar Casey time frames here with a lot of these dreams. We're talking many of these dreams that I have seem to have results within short time frames. I have not gotten to the point of pinpointing the day or the date. I don't know that anybody alive is doing that. Mm-hmm. but I'm getting better with the time ranges and time frames. And then some of these take a little longer to happen. I've had celebrity dreams, and I've noticed that sometimes some of them will pass on after that dream between 1 and 5 years. That's still a short time frame. And it's not that I'm proud that I'm predicting death, but it's a measure of it's a good measure because you can see it before that it was posted in advance, and then you get this result. The other thing is that that was huge news about David Bowie, and again, it was not publicized. If I knew he was sick or we knew he was sick, people would not be so shocked at this news. So this gives even more credence to it because of the fact that they didn't make his illness public. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So anyway, that's an example. And then we can. Do you have any questions on that or any ideas you want to add?
On David Bowie?
Yeah. Did you on the dream and the result? Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, but you did make me remember. I had a dream about David Bowie once, and I'm not necessarily a fan, but I don't not like his music. But I'm not like Spaceboy here, who is just Bowie was everything to him. But mine was just silly. So.
Yeah. Well, but David Bowie was, he was one of those breakthrough artists. He was. He kind of set the stage for glam rock in a way, don't you think?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
When I think of glam rock, I immediately think of David Bowie as one of the innovators of that. And in that music, you had a performance, a stage performance, and then you had the music combined. I mean, you don't get many people or artists that are like that today. And the artists that do it, I mean, either it's a hit and miss kind of thing. Either they've got it or they just don't got it at all.
That's like, it kind of reminds me of like what Lady Gaga was doing. Where she dressed up in all those crazy things, but she did write and perform her own music. And
Madonna is another person who's like that. But
so everything old is new again.
But yeah, getting back to Bowie, such a unique artist, and I can gush hours about Bowie because of how.
And
we
will. We're gonna have a. Aren't we gonna have a?
Later on, we're gonna do a
Bowie show,
an all Bowie show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, that's a great example. Even though the outcome or the result was tragic, it kind of gives you. It kind of makes you set back. At least with me, when I have these results, I have to really think to myself, how can this stuff has to have some solidification in the future, or how else could I pick up on it? Because I'm obviously not manifesting it. I didn't put down in that dream that yes, he's going to die. I didn't certifiably say that. Maybe some people would like me to do that, but that's not how it works for me. Now, if other people have that kind of ability, then believe me, media would be all over them. But as I've gone through the stages, and listen. To say I'm an expert, I can't say I'm an expert. I can say that I'm, well read in this, and I'm learning new things all the time. I mean, every day I learn something new and fascinating about this whole process. And I learn from errors as well by making, I realize that sometimes I get a little lazy and I don't think about a summary. I get up early in the morning, I'm still a little hazy when I post some of these, like the ones I posted at 5 o'clock this morning on Al Pacino. That dream was so real. And I mean, I could see Al Pacino and hear him and look at him, and I thought to myself, what is wrong with him? Because, and many people might want to go to the blog and read that, because he looked very frail and pale and thin. I mean, he looked like he was, about to die. That's how realistic it looked to me in the dream. And it woke me up because it startled me so much. But this next dream we'll cover was about Harrison Ford. Mm-hmm. Do you recall the plane crash that he had?
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of was forced down with like a golf course.
Right. Now, this dream actually occurred, it was over a year before this happened, but I got such a huge response to this because of how detailed the dream was and how it was so on point with the way things happened. And this was the post that I made. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford, I'm picking up he may have a problem with one of his aircraft. He flies a helicopter and airplane. It may be reported that he has to touch down somewhere other than the airstrip. possible mid-air mechanical or electronic problem. I don't see it being fatal, but very newsworthy. If I am interpreting this correctly, it will make sense. You can't get much clearer than that as to what really happened.
Right, because basically he had the touchdown, and I mean you could see the parallels between what you have. I guess would you say forecast or predicted or?
Yeah. I try to be careful not to. This is an ongoing experiment. I like people to read these things and think about, again, when you have something that detailed, you can't deny it. You can't say, well, he just said Harrison Ford and he's general and he didn't really say, because I even scrutinize myself when I look at these and I go, well, is that going to sound too general? And then sometimes I get upset with myself because I didn't post something, and just like I didn't get a chance to post the Golden Gate Bridge. I have, I want to remind everybody that I dream just I would say every night and even during naps.
Yeah. And
I will write down, 2 or 3 pages. I can't possibly get them all on the blog. And sometimes some of these happen so quick. And I have probably 6 pages of dreams and notes here that I probably will not get a chance to post. So I try to go through the ones that I think I can intuitively pick up on what that event might be, or even get a time range or a time frame. Now, like I said, for this one being so detailed, even if that particular post on Harrison Ford was made, further back, people would still say, wow, that was, this was a very popular read because of the fact that Harrison Ford was coming back into the Star Wars franchise. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people responded to that, and I got a lot of hits on that one.
When you had that dream about Harrison Ford, how was? I get the impression that you have dreams that go pretty vivid, detailed, kind of like when I was talking about my dream about the black and white versus the color version.
Sure.
Are your dreams? How can you explain a little bit more detail how vivid the dreams are and how detailed they are versus if do you have dreams that are kind of not all there, but then you have dreams that are pretty solid?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I have a detailed dream, kind of like this one with Harrison Ford or the one with David Bowie, I get a strong feel that it's going to be news as opposed to just Lotto. Sometimes I'll just get a whisper of a name prior to waking up. And I've had a number of those that have, manifested very quickly into news. The recent El Chapo dream was another one I got a lot of press on. When I say press, a lot of people responded to it because of the fact that, this dream occurred on November 1st, 2015, and I got to post it in the afternoon because I had a lot of dreams during that session, and this one was long and detailed. And we know what happened. El Chapo was huge news, right? Recapture of him. Mm-hmm. Right. So in this dream, and it took place during the daytime. This dream was so real. I could hear I could see the machine gun blast. I could see him running. I knew it was him, and I could see him running towards this building. Little small building that housed pipes or maybe an electrical or a generator or something, and myself and this other person were in there, and I was looking out through these louvers, and when I heard the gunshots, I could see El Chapo running towards this building, and I said, well, maybe he has a tunnel in here or something, because he's notorious for having escape plans. So again, this dream occurred on November 1st, 2015. And I said, my dream character and another unknown male were hiding out in this small off-green building that housed what looked like a commercial-type generator of some nature. It had a couple of off-white louvered windows, something you might see in a third-world country or an older military base of some nature. I remembered as a kid living in the Philippines that they had these type facilities. It was located at a distance from some compound in the middle of a jungle-type setting. The generator must have provided electricity to this compound. Suddenly, loud gunfire manifested outside. My dream character and the other person start looking out through the slats of the windows. We could not see anyone. The gunfire continued, loud and rapid from all directions. Then I see a short, casually dressed, stocky, looks Hispanic male, black hair and mustache, running for his life in our direction. He looked like he was carrying a MAC-10 or this type of automatic weapon. He would run, take cover, shoot, and then run again. Then we noticed a couple of uniformed men running in his direction. He was hidden. He gunned them both down as they passed his hiding spot. He shot them as they laid on the ground, and he began running toward us again. I told the other male to pull back from the window and sit quietly. The gunfire continued. Then I hear someone mulling around outside, checking out the building to make sure it was safe. Then it grows quiet. It feels like he may have moved past us, and suddenly the door flies open. This is when we both realize who the gunman is, the drug lord known as El Chapo. We thought he saw us at first, but then he looked around the inside, and it was like we were invisible. The dream faded. So from that, I have to sort of intuit what the dream weaver is trying to tell me. And because dreams are made up of many fragments, in other words, if I was a movie director or you were a movie director and you're shooting a movie, you shoot scenes, correct?
Correct, and then rearranging them in editing.
Right. Then when you get into the editing room, you splice all that information together to make a film. Well, this is how I liken it to my dreams. The Dreamweaver does all this, and then I have to actually go in there and do like reverse engineering. I have to go in there, and this is where it's like Minority Report, where you have the holographic board, like from the Tom Cruise movie.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with?
Yeah,
great film.
One of my favorite movies. Yes.
Yeah, I watch it every time it comes on. I love that film.
Mm-hmm.
It was sad to see the series canceled.
Right.
It wasn't quite the same. But anyway, so in the dream they're trying to figure out pre-crime. They're trying to figure out crime, so they have all this. You have the precogs in the milk bath, and then they shoot out the little information, and then you have to put all the pieces of the puzzle together to make sense. Well, it's kind of the same way with me on these dreams. I have to go in and defrag them. I have to take the fragments out to see what would make sense. Well, the one thing that stands out is El Chapo. So immediately I say, we're about to get some high-profile news about or connected to El Chapo, the most wanted man in the world. Maybe he will be caught soon, which he was 2 months after this dream. And that doesn't mean, for that to happen that quick, I mean, it might not have happened, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mentioned, and that's what I intuited out of this dream, that he's going to probably be caught again. I said, or he might be wounded or killed in a gun battle with officials. Well, there was a big gun battle, if you recall, when that news came out. And he was trying, in fact, he had escaped, and they had to run him down, and it was an issue. I read the story. So again, that only took 2 months approximately from the time of the actual dream. That dream occurred. Now, here's what's interesting. He was captured at the same time that David Bowie passed away.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So again, if I don't put this stuff down, if I just ignore it, then who's going to believe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because I've watched lots of shows on television about people who predict the future or claim to. I've seen people come on these shows when they're interviewing them, and they'll say, "Oh, I predicted 9/11. I predicted this." But there was no documentation to back up that they actually said those things. So I said, look, the only way I'm going to prove this is that if I can actually post these things and just keep a thick skin for all those that, roll their eyes or joke or say whatever they need to say about it. Fortunately for me, I've had mostly positive comments. I haven't really received any negative comments, just some questions and things about, hey, how do you, from people all over the world who read this blog daily like it's a newspaper. Hey, what is he going to dream next? And but I enjoy doing it. I mean, this is, I'm what you would call retired in my life right now, so I work primarily on this every day, taking periodic breaks.
The quick question I have for you, though, is that, you talk about a lot of the celebrity things that happen, pretty newsworthy things, but what about on a personal level? Do you find yourself dreaming of the future for what impacts you closer to your neighborhood? You know what I'm saying? Instead of yeah. I mean, have you had some significant events that you've dreamt, and then the next thing that that you're seeing these events turn over right before your eyes?
Yeah, I've had local events, and of course I dream about a number of local people or people from my past. And there was a dream that I had, let's see, it was this past May, and it was about a couple that I know, and they were in the dream. Let me see if I can find that one. Hang on just a second here. That dream occurred in May, and I remember it stood out so much because it was so real, the fight they were in. And I've known them for a long time. They both had trained at my gym when they were younger, and they actually met and ended up getting married. And yeah, that dream occurred on May 19th, 2015. And in that dream, both of these people were local insurance agents. Let me see here. I posted dreams about these two in the past with marital issues. I've had no contact with either one of them in quite some time. It is very possible someone might tell me something about them. I could also be out and maybe encounter one or both of them, and they may appear fine. The DW showed them, or the Dreamweaver showed them, having marital issues for some reason. Both of them were accusing the other of cheating. It was a very loud argument with a lot of finger pointing and bringing up the past. This did not seem like a first-time scenario, so it's possible they have been having marital problems for some time. And then I follow up with, of course, the Dreamweaver may have conjured them up in this dramatic episode to make sure I pay attention, which I have to stress. The Dreamweaver will exaggerate a dream to make sure that I pay attention to it. But it does not mean that the stuff I saw in the dream is going to happen exactly like it was in reality. That's where the skill comes in. It's sort of reading between the lines, and it could be, just trying to get my attention for lotto numbers, or it does let me know that there is something there. And then I go on to say, I've had many dreams of married couples or people in relationships I know having problems, and found out those dreams were correct. These dreams led to finding out those couples I had dreams about were divorced or split up or separated. That goes for celebrity couples as well. 99% of those were due to infidelity. Now, it was a few weeks later that I got news that the wife in this dream had committed suicide. And she, and here's the interesting thing. Like I said, I always find out this information. Now, it's not likely when the news broke about her. It was I think it was a week before her birthday, or 2 weeks before her birthday, and she apparently had caught her husband in an actual session of infidelity, you might say. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't know her to be a person that was unstable. But there are times in people's lives where I think when things occur and maybe they can't handle the embarrassment. I mean, they've had 2 children as well. So that took only like 3 weeks from the time of the dream for that to manifest. And I kind of got, when I had this dream, I went back immediately, and of course, it's sad, but that was definitely where the Dreamweaver was heading with this. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that a day before her suicide, I had a dream of a guy that used to train in my gym. He was a personal trainer, somebody I mentored since he was a teenager, who came to me in the dream. And every time this guy or his brother, who both trained at my gym, who have both passed on at young ages, it is like clockwork that somebody that we both knew or that trained in the gym passes on. So I have the dream about him, and then I get the news about her. Now, what makes this even more creepy is the fact that they both were trainers of the same plastic surgeon that trained at my gym. She had passed. She left town, and then this trainer took over. Both of them, and they both, died like three years apart. It's just, it's sad and tragic, but it's fascinating at the same time. And again, you have to wonder, if these things are in the future, who's creating that future? That's a question I ask myself all the time. because obviously I'm not manifesting. This isn't anything I want for anybody. I don't want anybody to kill themselves or commit suicide or harm themselves in any way. So it makes you wonder if there isn't something that is in charge of all this. You know,
back to that thing. Maybe it is a matrix.
Yes, exactly.
And
that's what I'm saying.
And that there's a grand architect out there trying to manipulate everything and gets headed to a direction that's predestined to be something. So, Patrick, we're about to break here, and so hang there. Don't go anywhere. So you're listening to Spaceboy Universe, and we're live on KFNX 1100 Independent Talk, Cave Creek, Phoenix. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, Space Cadets! Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there, this is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelei DeLille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt and Bot vs. Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe. Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Check out the new podcast, Spaceboy Universe, where we'll talk about a wide range of topics from A to Z. And remember, it's my universe and
I'm trapped in it.
What?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
Hey kids, grab your milk and cereal. It's Spaceboy Universe time. Yay!
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
You know, I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 713-701-5214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
I love that song. Anyway, so this is Spaceboy. We're back, and we have our guest speaker, Patrick Scott Sporer. Why do I keep choking on that?
I don't know.
It's Sporer. Patrick, hit me with a wet noodle, man.
That's okay. It's not a problem. It's been butchered worse. Trust me.
All I can do is guarantee that you will be back, because I'm going to tell the audience as we give a little full disclosure. I'm sitting here and I am just mesmerized. There's not very many people I can listen to and just kind of zen out and just say, wow, this is really fascinating stuff. Because most of the time I want to get my 2 cents in about this or that. So, yeah, I have been a little quiet, and I do apologize, but you're just a wealth of information. I mean, even when we did a pre-interview with you to get you started and kind of check you out and see how it was all going to go down and what we were going to do, I was fascinated just listening to you. Surlana and I were just captivated. Wouldn't you say when you called us, you did most of the talking and we just kind of listened?
Yes, I would say that, and again, I guess you can tell I'm pretty passionate about this, and I work on it, and I definitely love the fact that I can share it with people who have an open mind, such as yourself and your listening audience. Sometimes I don't have a lot of people I can discuss these things, and I run into other people that have the same problem. They're afraid to discuss this because they think they're going to be made fun of, or they think people are going to roll their eyes at them, or they think they're crazy. And there's people that lay judgments on you, and they won't even read the material. They won't even look at it. I think it scares them. I think sometimes it scares a skeptic or a non-believer because some part of their intellect might be challenged by the fact that something like this is very real. But,
I have to agree, because there's... in this day and age that we live in, and there's so many haters out there, so many trolls that people that just want to destroy you, and it's hard for people. I've been accused of being unique in a lot of ways, and even growing up, I was picked on, I was bullied just because I was different, and I can only imagine the ridicule that someone would go through in that situation, and the adversity yourself might have encountered with telling people about your gift.
Well, I owned a bodybuilding gym, so you can imagine what it was like trying to share this kind of information and I was a pretty big guy, but there were people in there that were receptive to it, and there were other people that, sometimes their religious affiliation made them quit my gym because I was talking about this. I used to bring to their attention, I said, well, in the Bible, it's full of prophecy and dreams, and I said the whole entire section of the book of Revelations is a prophecy. And the funny part about that is they would take offense to that, saying, well, are you trying to consider yourself in the same vein as somebody from the Bible? And I went, well, weren't we told we could be exactly like this, in some way? But it's just the idea. People get a fixed idea in their mind, and there's no changing their mind, and that may be DNA. Again, this whole study, being able to be in a gym and watch how genetics play out, and then experiencing this other side, this metaphysical side myself has really shown me and taught me a lot about that there are just people born in this world to do evil. And I don't think there's any way of changing that. I think they're just, it's in their DNA, it's in their structure to do destructive things. So then you have this other sect of people, it's in their DNA to help raise mankind and lift mankind and humanity to a greater height. And that's people like yourself. If you're doing a show like this, you're probably very empathic like myself. You know, you probably look at the world and you see things that happen like what happened in Phoenix, Arizona at that school with those two teenage girls. I mean, it's just sad news for something like that to occur. And, you know, just like when the kids in Sandy Hook were killed, I cried. I mean, you know, these things with children and things that happen to them because of the experience I had as a kid really puts my heart out to them. And I'm just amazed that, you know, it's just sad. It's just sad. But there are other people who look at that and they make jokes about that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. It's terrible. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. There's and I tried to give a couple of different examples of different dreams, and I found the dream of the one we were talking about before the break. And it was the dream of that personal trainer who was on the other side that came to me in the dream. Now, he didn't come to me in the dream and tell me this person was going to pass. I want to make that clear. What I have figured out, again, through trial and error, that when this person shows up or his brother shows up, generally somebody that they trained or that we knew or that trained in my gym passes on within a short period of time. And the dream of him was on June 6th. And the news of her was that same day. And here's the uncanny part I was telling you. Both of them died in the month of June. Both of them trained that same plastic surgeon in my gym. You know, it's just like all these connections. And you start wondering, I noticed this, that again, using my gym as a laboratory, that a number of people from the gym have passed on. Now, I was there for a long time, 28 years, so thousands of people trained at my gym. But I remember certain circles. You know what I'm talking about when I say circle of friends or circle of people that you know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I noticed that when one in the circle passed on, it wasn't long before another one did, and then another one did, and then another one did, and it just seemed like, and they were all young people. These are young people. These aren't people in their 70s or 80s. These were people in their mid 20s to mid 30s. And another interesting note that I just thought about, this particular personal trainer, whose initials are RB. He told me that he would not live beyond 40. He told me that when he was in his early 20s. He died in his 40th year. And this was the interesting thing prior to his death. I had a dream of both of them. And I would have to research that, but anybody could find it on the archives, I'm sure. This dream was so real and vivid, as all of them are. And I was in a mall food court. You guys are familiar with mall food courts, I'm sure.
Yeah. In fact, looking forward to tomorrow to one.
Right, absolutely. And in this, I don't know what mall it was, but I know that I walked into this, and in a mall food court, there's probably several different places you can choose to eat, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I went into this one in the dream, and I got my tray, and then I sat in a booth, and then I looked over, and it was two brothers sitting there eating, waving at me. And then I took my tray, I was finished eating, and the trash can was near their booth. And I walked over to them, and I could see them, guys, I'm telling you, I could see them just as clear as reality. Sitting there, smiling, looked healthy, well-built, as they both were. And I said, hey, guys, what are you doing here? And then suddenly I said to both of them, I said, hey, you both are dead. What are you doing here? And the dream faded. The younger brother was already dead. Within a short time frame, that is when the other brother passed away, not long after that dream. See, in the dream, which was months before the actual death of RB, that's what I'm saying. I had that dream that was so real, and I said in the dream, you both are dead. Now, he was still alive at that time. It's just again, who creates that? I didn't make it happen. I didn't create that. And this is another discussion for another time on a future show about manifestation versus fate. Because there's a lot of people that claim that they can manifest things. And I'm always the one to go, well, wait a minute, let's think about this a second. If we all have the ability to manifest, it would be a very dangerous world.
Oh, yes.
Because, yeah, right? It would be because when somebody gets angry at somebody, imagine what they want to manifest on them. Of course, some people do act out on their anger and regret it the rest of their lives. And then some people kill themselves, and there's no justice at all. Mm-hmm. But but when you think about these things, the more I experience it, and especially with the Lotto. But here's another story. We'll move on. We'll move on to the stealth bomber hit that I had. Now, this is so interesting because this shows you how two dreams come together with a form of synchronicity.
That's what I wanted to ask you about was synchronicity. If you could give examples of that. So
sure. Well, I'll give a story here in a moment. But the thing is, again, I want to stress to your audience, these aren't once in a lifetime or once in a blue moon things that occur to me. And if you start following the blog, and I don't make any money on the blog. I'm not trying to get people to go there because I make money on it. It's just a learning tool. But if you want to go and study these things daily, you'll start understanding my process, and it'll start making sense to you. Don't judge it just based on some of the things I'm telling you, because this is just a snapshot of what I've experienced. So I'm trying to give as many examples as I can tonight within the time that we have. This particular dream occurred, there was the first dream happened in 2007, and this is on the blog. You can go and look at the archives. I think I forwarded that one to you guys a couple of days ago. And you probably find it fascinating. I hope you do. But the first dream occurred in November of 2007. I think it was on the 6th of November. And it was about Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. And I said, wow. So I posted that, and I'm trying to make a short story out of this, but sometimes leaving out detail kills the whole synchronicity story. So I had that dream, I made the post. So flash forward about 4 months later, it's February 2008. I started having impressions about the stealth bomb. Now, this didn't come from a dream. This is an example. The first one was the dream, Anderson Air Force Base, Guam. The second one of the stealth bomber was interesting and unique in itself because what had happened, I was in my bathroom, and you know how you have a towel rack, sometimes you can see it in the mirror, and it's behind you in the mirror, and sometimes if the light hits a towel a certain way, there are images there. I mean, I know other people might say, but an artist would look at it or somebody creative would look at it and go, wow, yeah, I do see them. It's like looking at clouds and seeing something. And I coined this because I didn't know any other way to coin it. I call it reverse mirror towel image. But because I didn't know what else to call it. So I looked and I said, God, that looks just like a stealth bomber. And I could see it clearly in the mirror in the way the light and the shadow was on that towel. And so I made a note about it, and I said, I'm going to post this. I'm going to take a chance on this because, I had a feeling. I get that resonation in what you call the solar plexus area of your body. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when you get nervous or butterflies, but it's a little different feeling in me when I know there's some sort of impression. I'm getting information about a future event. So I made the post, and it was 2 weeks later that a stealth bomber crashed at Anderson Air Force Base, Guam. Now, what you have to think about was that's the only accident in the history of stealth bombers, and there's only like 20 or 21 of those in the world. The odds and the possibilities, right? You got to think about that.
Yeah, only a handful of those.
Right. So again, what if I just ignored the symbol on the towel? I would have missed. Not that I was happy. Nobody died in this thing. And actually, have you ever seen a real stealth bomber in the air flying around?
I haven't seen one in the air. I've seen one. Where was I when I guess it was at an air show not too long ago. That had it cordoned off, but I mean you could see it off in the distance.
Did you see it sitting still or flying?
It was sitting still.
Okay. Well, in 2005, again, 2 years before this happened, or about a year and a half before it happened, it was the fall of 2005, my then girlfriend and her daughter and I were driving around, and suddenly we see this huge black craft, and immediately when you see one of these, it is awe. I mean, you're in awe of it, and it was flying low. I didn't have a camera to take a picture of it, but it was incredible. And, of course, the first thing you think about is anybody would think about if you didn't know what it was, it's a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was so close to the ground, I knew immediately what it was, and it was a stealth bomber. So this is what I call getting a long-distance preview of a future event. Now, you know, most people discount that stuff. They just look at something and they go, oh, I saw that. But I have a notepad that I've been carrying around, not one notepad, I have numerous notepads, of course, since the mid-'90s, because I set out to prove to a guy that challenged me, and I said, I'm going to show you how these repetitions turn into lotto or to news stories. It didn't take 3 months for me to show him the data, and he was just like stunned. And this was one of those cases. So I looked at that first stealth bomber. It took me back when I saw the reverse image on the towel, you know, the mirror image. And then when this event occurred, and it was on the blog, I got so many people that responded to it because they just couldn't believe it. It is unbelievable, right? I mean, it is sort of like freaky to pick up on a future event in this method, in this manner. But what it taught me is to trust. You know, trust that my subconscious is showing me things. And what I want to inform everybody out there, this isn't just happening to me. This is happening to all of us 24/7 because it makes me feel that we are all connected in some strange way. I know that sounds like a cliche because you hear it in all these metaphysical movies and some of these TV shows. And, you know, I don't think people like being preached to about this stuff anymore. I notice those shows don't last long. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, they say the same things, and, you know, we've heard this, you know, and anybody who's read metaphysical books or, you know, has studied certain of the sages of the past, these things are just common. But when I see these type of things, why did I pay attention to it, right? How many people do you think made that prediction or even posted anything about that potentially happening? You would have thought they would have been all over the place. But you know, the other thing I want to stress is I don't visit, and there's a reason, I'll explain. Somebody said, well, do you check out to see if other people are making posts like you? I go, no. And they ask why. And I go, because I don't want my subconscious polluted by what they might say. Mm-hmm. And I don't want somebody to say that I copied their stuff. You were going to say?
Right.
Yeah. So I stay away from visiting anything about dream predictions or psychic predictions or anything. I don't go there. I have other people that do inform me. They say, well, you know, I go to this one lady. She's followed this stuff for years, and she's a big fan of what I do because she said, you're the only one that really puts down the detail and puts down the date and the time. She says these other ones, she says you'll notice that they'll change their stuff, or and these are noteworthy people, by the way. These are psychics that make lots of money, you know, doing these things because they raise their profile to do personal readings and stuff when they claim to make claims like this. I'm not saying they all do, but there are a number of noteworthy names out there that to me I wonder about sometimes. But anyway, we're not here to discuss them. I just warn people, be very careful. Just be very careful what you really believe. You got to, you know, I'm a person about physical evidence, as I'm sure you guys are.
Well, I like to always say that I want to believe, but I at the same time I have a very healthy skeptic heart to mm-hmm. Kind of shift through the data, if you will.
I think I'm even more skeptical than you. You're a lot more accepting of some things and open-minded. And I'm like, you know, I've got to see it to believe it. But mm-hmm. then you would say, well, then how do you have religion, which is based on faith and things you can't prove? So then hoisted by your own petard, as they say. So I kind of have to stop myself and say, okay, what about this can I accept? And so I do try to stop before I just dismiss something completely.
Mm-hmm. Well, believe me, I don't lean one way or the other. I stay pretty neutral on either side. That's the only way I can do this. I have to have a skeptical side blended with the other side of seeing this work out. I can't be just saying, because there's a lot of stuff, even when I do it, I go, I have to sit, every time I have a result, I get this incredible jolt of electricity. Because it just feels, it's like, I said, guys, I've read about this stuff, I've seen it in movies, and all this stuff, and it's real. But it's real in a different way that's depicted in movies and TV shows and novels. Mm-hmm. That's another thing I want to inform to your listeners, that I've had people judge me saying, well, I saw this movie and you don't do it like them. Or I saw this TV show and if you're not doing it like them. I go, yeah, but that's all fabricated stuff made up by writers.
And people believe that because, I don't know why they believe things on TV and movies, just because somebody bothered to put it out there. That must be the way it is.
It must be true.
They get things wrong, mundane things wrong, like police procedures and investigations. They get those all wrong. They're all glamorized and hoked up. Yeah, it's not necessarily psychic things. It's even everyday things they're trying to replicate for realism, but they get that completely wrong.
Sure, absolutely. But I will say that movies, TV shows, and of course I don't read as much as you do, Surlana, but or my sister or my good friend George. You guys are all in the same boat. You love to read, and they'll find a book and get lost. But and when I say that, I mean that in a positive way. But the thing is that movies and TV shows do foreshadow future events, even as far-fetched as they seem to appear in some of these things. They do foreshadow events. And that would take another whole show to discuss, because I have a whole list of movies that I can share and show when they were put out and all these other things.
Now that would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, it would be, and I love movies. I watched World War Z last night. The interesting thing about that, I made a connection, was I was stationed at Camp Humphreys in Korea. I can't believe out of all the military bases in the world, that in this huge movie that they would use Camp Humphreys as the epicenter of that plague. It just, when I saw that, I thought, and I was actually stationed there. And they don't have an airstrip, by the way. They have, it's a helicopter base. I've never, in the years that I was there, I never saw a huge plane like that land, but it might have been a special case for the film. They didn't really explain that. But I thought that was a unique twist in the zombie genre. But what's interesting is after I saw that movie, then I had that big dream about Brad Pitt that I posted this morning, but I don't want to get into it. I just get people to go to the blog and look at it and read it. It's a lot easier. We might not be able to cover much of the lotto tonight, guys. We may have to do that another time because I'm enjoying talking about this other stuff. But the lotto is a pivotal part of all this.
So we're up to 3 shows that you're going to be returning with us, Patrick. So
okay, yeah. maybe I should just come on every week and do a little 15-minute, build up. Anyway,
keep
you to 15.
The Patrick update.
Yeah. One of the dreams that was pinpointed, by the way, was the birth of Prince George. I did specifically post that he would be born on July 22nd, and I did get a lot of hits from that one of people saying, "Wow," because there were so many people guessing it. And so many were wrong. And I'm talking, again, noteworthy psychics, things like that. But, so anyway, and maybe I got lucky with that. Who knows? But, there's people that will say, well, your time frames, how come you can't get it precise on the date? I go, well, I'm being honest with you. I can't. I cannot guarantee it, but I can get a pretty good time range. A lot of these lotto jackpots that I hit were on the same day as the dream I posted that morning. And I'm studying this now, and I did real well with it. I didn't discover the lotto connection to the dreams until mid-2011, and that was by accident. But again, maybe we can talk about that at another time because it's fascinating. Did I skip anything? Was I starting to talk about something and I diverted?
We had a question in our Spreaker chat a while back. That person wanted to know, had you ever had a precognitive dream in the past, and maybe something happened or didn't happen, and then maybe a year or more later you had another dream, and they linked together, and then eventually both of them turned out to be true? Or
Sure. Yeah, that's what I was explaining with the stealth bomber.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was a fragment. Those were two dreams that you could clearly see were fragmented, but then they came together in that synchronicity with the stealth bomber, and that was huge news. But and this is the thing about dreams that I'm warning people about. Some of this stuff will link. It's just like I may have gotten more information in regard to some of these other results that I had. And I think somewhere in the dreams is embedded a time frame. I just haven't discovered it yet. And again, with the lotto, that was sort of by accident. That was one day of contemplation that I was sitting there thinking, I go, look, some of these celebrity dreams are not turning into anything. What am I missing? And what I did is I took one dream, it was about George Clooney, and I said, I'm going to look up, I just said I'm going to look that dream I had about him up and put it against the Florida Lotto. Now, Surlana, you mentioned that. Why just the Florida Lotto?
Well, hold on just a second there. Let's go ahead and take our bottom of the hour break, Patrick, and then we can go into that. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe, also on KFNX, 1100 Independent Talk, Cave Creek, Phoenix. Hey, Space Cadets! Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live shows. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there, this is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelei Jamil. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt at Bot vs. Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 713-7015-214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Well, I guess, Patrick, do you want to continue where we kind of bumped you off there?
Yeah, sure. Time is flying, guys. It's going great.
It is. And before you go on, we also want to just, before we get to the end of the night, Patrick, we want to cover Phoenix Lights, and I think even Surlana has a quick question. But go ahead and continue where you're at, and then we'll bump in with those other things.
Okay, well, primarily when I made the discovery of the lotto, that the dreams were connected to the lotto, and the thing is, it was probably always showing. You see what I'm saying? There's an indiscriminate energy here that if I pay attention, then it gives me the information. But the information is all around us 24/7 if we're willing to study it and pay attention to it. So the thing is, I miss stuff all the time. Like, again, I want to stress to people, hey, I could say I'm an expert and I do this 100% and make myself sound like a demigod like they do some of these psychics on these reality shows. But that's not the case. The case is I make errors, I study, I'm trying to learn more and more about this, and I hope I live long enough to make greater discoveries. And this is just one of the cases of how life is a happy accident when I stumbled across the fact that on this George Clooney dream, I started studying the Florida Lotto connected to his birthday, which is May 6th. Now, even using this as an example tonight, and this is another way I've discovered the subconscious or the dream weaver or whatever you want to call it, it makes no difference because it's indiscriminate energy. It doesn't care what you call it. It will respond, trust me. So you can give it any name you want. You can, whatever. Some people refer to it as a guardian angel. Some people call it spirit guide. I just look at it. I try to demystify all of this so that people will recognize it as something we were all born with, which is pure intuition. Something that humanity, in the survival stages before communication came along and they were living out in the, caves and everything else, needed to survive. And it's there in our system, and if you can blend it with your intellect, you'll probably do great things like a lot of people who have made, had inventions, Edison, Da Vinci, and there's hundreds of others. People use it to make music like you do, Spaceboy, and it's infinite what you can do if you're just willing to pay attention to it.
Well,
but
I was real quick tying into that. You're absolutely right because I create music based upon what I see, what I hear, what I taste. It kind of all flows together. Even the dreams that I have usually manifest into my music itself. But I couldn't agree more with you.
I'm going to segue just for a minute since you mentioned music. And I am fascinated. I love biographies and documentaries on people who have succeeded in the entertainment industry, specifically the music industry. Now, not because I'm a musician. I told you about my brother. He's the musician. I'm not. But I just love to hear stories about how people have succeeded in life. And if you really listen to those stories beyond the fame and the glory, there's always one story in there of synchronicity that changed their life. And it usually came within 5 minutes. This thing. And I was listening. Do you remember who Minnie Riperton was? The singer.
Who was it again?
Minnie Riperton.
It doesn't ring a
bell.
bell.
She had a song called "Loving You" back in the mid-'70s. It went on. It was a #1 song. She won a Grammy for it and all this other stuff. Her daughter is from Saturday Night Live, Maya Rudolph.
Yes.
You know who she is?
Oh, yes. Duh. Yeah, it all comes back, yes.
Okay. Well, I was recently watching this show called Unsung. It's about black artists, and it's on, I think it's called the One Source Network. I love that show. I watch about all of these artists in the past, but not any particular race. It just happens to be a program that's devoted to primarily African-American artists, music artists. And I remember, because I, believe it or not, for 1 year of my life, I was a DJ. And this, yeah, I know, I wore many hats. It's something I thought I wanted to do. It was on a college radio station, by the way. And this song, Minnie Riperton, I always came on my show because I had the variety of sounds, because I didn't have any particular format, because everybody else took all the other formats. So I said, I'm just going to play a little bit of everything. So, yeah, I know, it's funny. But it was popular, and that song, Minnie Riperton, because she had such a high-pitched song. But in the documentary, here's how that song came to be. And this is one of many. I mean, there's so many artists you could choose from. She was in the kitchen washing dishes. Her husband, who's also her producer, is in the living room just strumming his guitar and trying to come up with a tune. She suddenly, within minutes, starts singing a tune, and the rest is history. That turned out to be her biggest hit that made her, a big star back then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. That was just an intuitive synchronicity. Isn't that beautiful how those things happen?
Yeah, I love stories like that.
Yeah, and that's one of, that's why I love, and with actors, how they made it. And, and again, there are people in this world who had no intention to do the career field they're in now. It was through a series of synchronicities that put them there, and a lot of those people are in the entertainment industry. I have watched people, and I know people that still live in California that are still trying to pursue the movie industry and have been out there 30 years and have had absolutely zero success. And there's other people that go out there, sometimes in 2 days, they're discovered. And there's the story of, what's her name, who played Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how she was discovered. It's an example of that. So, all you can do is do the work and just trust that something is going to put you on the path to where you should be, the destiny pattern. That's why this idea about this book about trying to use all these, dreams and signs and symbols and synchronicity, the cosmic carrot that keeps us all moving in life, the old drawing of the donkey and the carrots out there and make him keep moving. That's kind of how we all are. We're following this cosmic carrot in our life because we're hoping it'll lead us. But sometimes we miss the beautiful things that we get from that journey because we're still looking at that carrot. And many times we have to stop and look around and just say, hey, with a lot of stuff that's going on in the world, some of us are in a pretty good place.
I know.
Wouldn't you agree?
I often think, man, that carrot is so delicious that.
Yeah, I was looking right at him when you said that, and I was giving a significant look.
But yeah, Surlana, you had a question for Patrick.
Just real quick, if you can share this, maybe it's too personal, but do you have like a sign or a symbol in your dreams that recurs often? That you're like, oh, when you see that, you know exactly what that means, and it helps you predict or something to that effect?
Well, I'm just looking at that sheet of paper. I've been staring at it in front of me, and I'm getting ready to talk about that. And you asked the question.
Okay.
Yeah,
synchronicity
absolutely.
Again, it works.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Listen. I wish there was a camera on me, and a lot of times, I say, look, if I ever do a reality show, if that ever happens, or some show. I'm not holding out that that's going to happen because I'm pretty happy where I'm at in my life. But if it should come about in a simple way and there's not a lot of people involved, I'd be open to doing something unique, something I could control without a lot of input from other people that don't understand the process. I want to have a lie detector or a voice stress test so that people will even believe it even more. Not that they need that. But I would love to, see some of these other shows with these people that say these things. I would love to see somebody strap something to them just to see how authentic they really are. But, it's just thought. Anyway, so as an example of what you're saying, for instance, if I see the Titanic.
Oh.
Everybody knows what that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, not the movie, but the actual boat, but the movie or whatever. That doesn't mean that there's going to be news about the Titanic. Sometimes there is. And again, even me mentioning this now, there could be. But what it has turned into numerous times is that within a short time frame, there has been a mishap or an incident on a ship at sea.
Mm-hmm.
It usually doesn't take that long. It was repeating. Now, it comes in dreams, and it also comes in this thing that I call coincidence repetition phenomena, or a CRP for short. This is another thing I had, just like with the reverse mirror tau image, I had to come up with it because I've never seen anything like that in any metaphysical book where things repeat like that and then they lead to it. And again, these repetitions seem to increase in intensity as it gets closer to the event happening. And I mean, sometimes these things will happen 6 times in a day, but it'll happen 6 times in a day in unusual ways. In other words, I might go into a room and for some reason be compelled to turn on the radio and it'll mention Titanic. Somebody will, or the theme from Titanic will play by Celine Dion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'll turn that off. Why did I turn it on? And then I'll make a note of that. I'll take my notebook and say, wow, I'm going to write that down in the time. Boom, I'm going to write that down. And then all of a sudden, it's like a string, like a domino effect of those will occur. And then I'll write all this down, and if I have time or the wherewithal, I'll post it on the blog. And a lot of times, I'll put the entire timeline down. And usually within a short time frame, after I give my summations of possibilities, or as it said, we're in a world of infinite probabilities. At least it appears that way at times. Then I look for something like a shipwreck or an actual news story related in something to do with the Titanic. The same thing happens with the Hindenburg. I've had that one repeat. Pearl Harbor, train wreck. When I hear train wreck, it's usually, or I see, there'll be a significant train wreck that will occur. And again, this thing's all being archived tonight, right? All recorded?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, all backed
okay.
up. Many locations.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So we have all this. We have all these things. Same thing when 9/11 recurs. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has anything to do with the actual 9/11 attacks from 2001, but it does kind of give me an idea that, and you got. It's just like in the dream. When you read my dreams, you notice that I won't say it's one thing. I'll say, well, it could be possibility number one. It could be possibility number two. It could be. There's a lot of people that like that. They said they can deal with that better than somebody saying, this is going to happen on this date and the end of the world is coming and there's nothing we can do about it. Something I won't do. I don't feel in my soul that the world's going to end anytime soon. And I'm definitely not a prophet of doom, although there are people that sometimes do say, it seems like you pick up on a lot of negative things. And I go, well, wait a minute. I said, what do you mean by that? They go, well, you talk about this and then that happens and it's a tragedy and you talk about this. I said, yeah, but let me put it to you in another way. I said, if I came to you and I said, hey, I had a dream, and I'll give you a story of what happened to another person. And I said, I can't give you a specific date, but you need to be really careful doing this particular thing. I said, you're going to ignore me, just like a friend did. And he ended up wrapping himself around a telephone pole. And then after he did it, he goes, I wish you hadn't told me that. I think you put that in my head and made that happen. And I said, well, I guess I should never tell anybody any of this stuff. Because I have mentioned it to certain things to certain people about illness and about accidents and everything else. Mm-hmm. And the reason I did that was because I said, if I can help you prevent that, then it's not a negative thing I'm seeing. It's actually a positive thing because, and here's how I'll put it. In other words, we have a solid event. You guys understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
And a solid event in the future. But that doesn't mean, it does mean that event's going to occur, but you have the free will on how you're going to respond to the information you get prior to that event, right?
Well, this is not unusual. I have a friend who experienced this. She had a very vivid dream that something was going to happen to her friend. She wasn't sure what it was going to be. She just happened to call them up and say, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I had this very vivid dream about you. So, are you okay? Are you everything's fine? And they said, yeah. I said, well, just be cautious for a while and take care. And sure enough, I forgot what thing happened, but something did happen to them, but they were able to be okay. So that's not unusual, I think, to have kind of a premonition dream about.
I think mothers have many premonition dreams about their children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's mothers are you hear the old saying about mothers' intuition. There are people that will say that women are more intuitive than men. I can't really conclude that's true, but it may be because of the different hemispheres of the brain or something. Again, I really work to remove the mysticism connected to all this stuff because there's this tendency, and I think you guys will agree, that when you see these documentaries on Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce, they use those two guys always as the premier psychics of the world. But yet none of us were probably alive when they were around to know if any of that's true. And I'm not trying to put anybody down that studies Nostradamus, but have you ever looked at those quatrains and tried to figure them out?
I've seen a few of them.
And also, from what I've read, I think is John Hogue is his name.
Mm-hmm.
He's a well-known modern-day person who interprets them, and he even tells people, you can't do the English translation directly, because the way it was written back then, you have to read it the way it was written then. And so, I mean, it just opens a can of worms that for interpretation that it can go down the wrong way.
Yeah, and also people need to be careful of deifying these TV psychics, because there are talented people in this world, and I won't just talk about the psychic field, but there's talented people. You hear this all the time from other actors that said, "Hey, I was very lucky that I'm here because there's people much more talented than me." The same thing in the music world. There are people that are at the levels of music that never have the great success that they think they need to validate what they do in life, for one reason or another. And again, this is where this fate thing might come in. Maybe people are just destined. I mean, let's face it, if it's manifestation, if you have 1 million people who are growing up saying, "I'm going to be president of the United States," pretty impossible, right? Mm-hmm. To fulfill all 1 million people that want this, they have this dream, or they want to manifest this thing. It's just not fathomable. There's not enough spots in the world. It's just like being in the NFL or there's a lot of people, there's a lot of actors out in Hollywood, as there are a lot of musicians that are playing one night stands everywhere, or they're in a house band somewhere. They don't get any further than that, but they still play. They still enjoy what they do. They still have a passion for it. You were talking about a synchronicity story, Surlana, right? That you wanted me to tell? Okay, you'll like this one. Did I finish out with everything?
Yeah, sure.
But you're doing good.
I hope your audience is really enjoying this as much as I am talking about it. Anyway, this story took place. It was probably, this is when I lived in an apartment. And if you've lived in an apartment, you know that sometimes you get good neighbors and sometimes you get bad neighbors.
Oh my goodness, the stories we could tell you.
Yeah, and I lived on a second story, fortunately for me. And this will show you the beauty of synchronicity. And this is one of hundreds of stories I have, but I think you'll really appreciate this one. This took place. It was probably 15 years ago or longer. I was in the midst of promoting one of my bodybuilding shows, and I had lost my host hotel for my judges and athletes. So I was under the gun because I had already started publicizing the show, and then suddenly this place that had me advertising them pulled the rug out from under me. So I said, well, I'm not going to worry about this. At the same time, my neighbor downstairs has started a country and western band, and they're using their apartment as a place to rehearse. And I went, oh no. And I liked the guy. He was always very friendly to me, and a lot of times he was never there. He asked me to watch his apartment. His name was Terry. I remember him, and he was so nice, and we got along. We used to chat all the time. But when they started that country and western band, I mean, it got rough, because they would be up late at night jamming and everything else, and I'm upstairs and I can hear all this stuff. And I didn't want to complain. So here's what happens. I say, well, I hope Terry and his group find success somewhere. I didn't make a negative comment. I said, I hope they find it, and then maybe they have to move and go on to that success. Within 2 days, I'm driving back home. They're moving out. And Terry says, hey, we're moving to Nashville. He says, we're going to take a shot at, what we got here. I said, oh, man. I said, congratulations. Boy, what news that was, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm still searching for this host hotel. Here's what happens. A couple days later, I look out my window, I get this urge, and I see this older woman wandering around the parking lot. So I said, where did she come from? So I went down there because I've ran into people who have Alzheimer's and have helped them before. They've gotten lost. And I said, maybe she's got Alzheimer's. I better run down there and see. And she said, oh, I said, ma'am, are you okay? She said, yeah. She said, it's just unusually quiet around here. She said, oh, is this quiet? I said, well, it wasn't until a few days ago. And guess where she moved in? She moved into the apartment that Terry had moved out of, underneath me. And she had just lost her husband. And my mom had lost my dad, and I knew that, and that's another synchronicity story for another day of the premonition I had prior to my dad's death. So I spoke with her, and she didn't tell me her name. I said, well, ma'am, if I'm too loud or there's a problem, don't hesitate to tell me. She goes, no, you're a very quiet man. She said, I'm usually quiet. She says, are you up there all the time? I said, well, not all the time. She says, I never hear your TV. I never hear a radio. I never hear anything. And I said, no, it's okay. So, flash forward. I'm at my gym. No, wait, excuse me. The next day, I'm going to the mailbox early in the morning. Not something I usually do. I usually take it to a regular mailbox. So here's what happens. Yeah. So I go there, and then I start to get in my car after I drop it in the mailbox, and the landlady runs outside, and she says, oh, Patrick, come here. I have somebody I want you to meet. And I go, oh, no. She's trying to set me up with a date or something. And I said, please, I really need to get to the gym because I've got to get this show promoted, and I got to find a place. This well-dressed gentleman comes out, and he goes, hey, my name is Dave Heck. And he said, you were so nice to my mother. That's my mom. She's a widower. And he said, I just want to appreciate, she told me all about you and that you were concerned about her. And he said, that's just so nice of you. And I go, okay. I said, well, you let her know if she needs any help. Just let me know. And I said, but I need to get going. Okay. Look, this is just going to blow your mind. I go to my gym, and I'm sitting there, and, I'm thinking, okay, I have got to find this host hotel. Now, I live in Panama City, Florida, and Panama City Beach. There are hundreds of condos and hotels. Listen to the odds of what is about to occur. I open up, I said, I'm going to do this. I said, look, I say these metaphysical practices all the time. I'm just going to put this to use. I grab a phone book. I don't even look. I flip it open, and I keep my eyes closed, and I just point to an area. I look down, and it says Ramada Inn. I said, Ramada Inn? Wait a minute. I know the general manager there from my entertainment days. I said, he's probably still there. He'll help me. Call the Ramada Inn. And I said, hey, I need, a rate. I've got an event coming to town, and I said, I need some room, and I want to know if you guys do comps and all this other stuff. She says, just a minute. I'll get you our general manager, Dave Heck. The guy I just spoke to in the morning about his mother who moved downstairs from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The rest was history. He said, whatever you need, I'll give you whatever you need.
Patrick, that is crazy, and I hate to end you right there.
Good story
but a great story to end out there. Definitely going to have you back.
There's
because
just too much.
There's just too much with you, and you're just so captivating, like I said. So, Patrick, thank you for coming on tonight. We appreciate you, and we are definitely going to keep you close to our vest here at Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, and just in closing, I just want to stress to everybody again, please visit the dream-cognition experiment. You can Google it and just start reading it every day and learn something. Maybe it'll help you with something, a dream or an impression or, anything. It might be useful to you. And plus, it'll let you understand the process before the next show that we do.
Yes, most definitely. Anyway, that's Patrick Sporer, everybody. And yes, the third time's a charm, dear. So thank you, Patrick. And, we'll talk to you soon.
And thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good.
Wow, what a great show. So
I like these ones where I don't have to talk much.
I was captivated. I mean, it's hard not to get sucked in and listen to Patrick because he is just so interesting to listen to.
The synchrony stuff is wild.
Yes, I mean there's some stories that I have of my own that synchronicity plays into my own personal life, but I've never thought about taking a journal to my dreams, some dreams.
I used to do that because mine were so weird, but when I did that, I was unemployed and had lots of time, and I didn't know you.
Well, and then I imagine I made your dreams come true, right?
Yeah.
I love you too, dear, especially for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep saying. But so we're almost to the end of the show here. I'm about to run the credits, but just want to thank everybody for showing up to the gig tonight, and make sure to join us next Saturday when we're going to be celebrating Star Trek, the 50th anniversary this year. And so life is good. So
won't have to research that one.
No, not at all. But other than that, any last things?
Yeah, that'll be our next show. It's the 50th year of Star Trek franchise, which we both love, and sci-fi brought us together. So hopefully, just be a big old celebration.
Hopefully,
maybe
we can sneak somebody
in.
And, somebody special from Star Trek, whatever.
I have an email you need to read.
Oh, good stuff. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Spaceboy Universe. We must get out of here. Don't
Good
feel
night,
sad.
Phoenix.
We'll be back.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Producer credit goes out to Dennis Koch. Find Spaceboy at spaceboymusic.com and spaceboyuniverse.com. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. You have reached your final destination. Good night, Space Cadets.